Hello, so welcome to another Angling Direct Learn to Fish video. So in this video, I'm going to run through how to feel the lead down and what that actually means. Many people would have heard the term feeling the lead down or getting that all-important donk. In this video, I'm going to run through what that actually means, how to bring it into your own angling, and more importantly, how to actually do it. So feeling the lead down, what does it actually mean? There'll be some people who don't even know the term. And what it actually means is when you cast out either with your marker rod or your fishing rod, you can trap your line, trap your lead just before it hits the surface of the water. And you can then feel the lead down on a tight line until it hits the bottom of the lake. So the advantages, what are the advantages? There's so many advantages to feeling the lead down. The main one is you can decipher what you're fishing over, be it sand, gravel, weed, etc. We'll get into more detail of that later on when I show you actually how to do it. The other advantage is you can actually, with a bit of practice, count how long it takes for the lead to hit the bottom, and you can then decipher how deep the actual spot you're fishing is. And the last point is quite an important one as well. If you trap your lead before it hits the surface and you've got a tight line all the way down with your fishing rod and rig, you can actually stop and eliminate a lot of those tangles. So let's get into how to do it, and what we'll do is we'll just have a little flick with the lead and then we'll get in and show you what you're actually feeling for. So for the purpose of the video, I've actually had a good lead around and I found a spot and put the line in the clip already. So I'm just going to whip this in, and then what we're going to do is show you actually how to feel the lead down. But first things first, let's run through a bit of the hardware. So the most important thing is probably having a reel loaded with braid. In this case, my marker rod is loaded with braid and the braid has zero stretch. So it's going to make it a lot easier for you guys to feel what's on the lake bed. And when I mean that, the braid has zero stretch, so everything's transmitted up that braid to the rod to you. It will make your life a load easier for finding those spots and feeling the lead down. The first key thing you need to know when actually feeling the lead down is to trap the line before the lead hits the water. This will then basically means that you can have a tight line all the way to your lead and follow the rod down through the water column until your lead hits the lake bed. Tell you what, let me just cast this out and I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'll cast it short of the spot, and what I'll do is I'll do this, stop it with my finger, and then I can feel the lead down through the water column. It's deep, bump, and it hits the lake bed. You need to keep that line tight to be able to feel that lead hit the bottom. That was quite a deep spot, and you'll get to learn how deep the spots are just with a lot of practice and a lot of fishing different depths of water. You will gather sort of the depths, but we'll go more into that and how to actually count the lead down a little bit later on. Right, so the next thing is really important, and that's to work out what the actual drops mean so you can decipher what the lake bed is. So I'll reel this in and I'll give it a quick cast out and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So this is actually a really firm drop. Hit that line clip, it's in the clip, remember, and it's really deep, and I'm feeling the lead down. Bang, and you get that all-important donk, which you hear lots of people talk about. So I know with a really hard, firm drop down, I'm fishing either on gravel or clay, something with a real hard sort of lake bed. And it's pretty simple really. Softer the drop, the softer the lake bed's going to be. So if you're fishing in silt or maybe really low-lying silkweed, you're going to get quite a soft sort of drop. And in some cases, you're going to get no drop, and that means you're fishing in weed, which you don't really want to be doing. So after a lot of practice, you know you're going to be wanting to fish on the firmer ground, so you get that great presentation and there's more chance of catching a carp. So that is probably the main reason why you're going to be feeling the lead down. We'll just do it one more time. So it goes out, hits that line clip, got a tight line all the way down. It's really deep here. Bang, nice firm donk. Happy with that. I know that I'm fishing on a firm ground. All I'm going to do now is just wrap my fishing rod up, same as this, and I know I'll be fishing with the fishing rods on that firm spot. So that is the fishing rod now clipped up exactly the same distance as my marker rod using the aid of distance sticks. And if you're unsure how to use distance sticks, we actually done a learn to fish video on how to accurately cast and use distance sticks well worth checking that out. So now it's the all important bit on getting your fishing rod out there on the spot. And what I would recommend is doing a few practice casts with your fishing rod to make sure you're getting the same drop as you are with your marker rod. And a little tip, get an old rig, an old blunt rig that you've caught a carp on before, and attach it to your rod before you cast out, because what that means is you can have a little pullback with that said rig and make sure there's no bits of old debris, leaves, any silkweed, any old rotten weed on the bottom, which is going to hinder your presentation. So I've cast it out, hit the clip, and I feel it down nice and deep. Bump. Well, I'm happy with that spot. That went down nice and firm, and it's definitely worth mentioning that with the mono compared to your braid, it's got more stretch. So what that means is you're going to feel less through your fishing rod than you are with your marker rod. So I'm going to say, if you're going to go out and practice, find a deep lake and practice with your marker rod, because you're going to feel it so much more easier. While we're talking about the drop down with your fishing rod, let's talk about counting the depth and getting a rough depth of what you're fishing over, or in I should say. If your lead hits the surface of the water and then cracks down straight away, you know it's going to be a lot shallower than what I'm fishing now. And you'd probably say if it goes crack donk, you're fishing about 3 foot of water. For every sort of second of that lead falls down, roughly it's about 3 foot. But all you've got to know is that you're fishing in the right amount of depth for the time of year that you're fishing in. Next, obviously, we've got that old rig on there, so I'm just going to give it a little wind, little pull, and a flick in like so. And now we can determine if the spot is clear. I'm pretty sure it is. It's quite deep out there. I'm getting a nice drop. Yeah, there's nothing on there. So if you come in with leaves and stuff like that, you can obviously adapt your presentation, maybe fish a pop-up or something like that. But it's just a little gauge to see what you're fishing over. So now it's just the case really of putting your fresh rig on, the one you're going to be fishing with, getting it out on the spot, casting to the horizon marker, feeling that lead down, making sure that you get that donk every single time you cast, and then putting some bait over, and hopefully you'll catch a carp. If you're unsure how to accurately put some bait over, the same video we done on the distance sticks runs through how to accurately bait up using those distance sticks. So definitely go back and watch that, and then you'll know how to put bait over your rods. So I'm going to get this out now, sit down, hopefully catch a carp a little bit later, and we'll catch up on the next video.